Hi guys, it's Noob Trader Jack here. Had another exciting day. It was a CPI day. Usually I don't like trading these days because they're very volatile and spastic, and I believe they can really hurt you unless you're really experienced. And like I said, I'm a fairly new trader. Only been at this 2 years, so pretty new in the industry. I think this is one of the big secrets as to why most people don't make it is because they just don't give themselves enough time. Everybody comes into this industry thinking they're going to do it in, a few months and they're going to be, masters and it's easy money, and it's really not. And there's a huge learning curve. And I think 2 years is like the minimum you need to even like consider. So if you're not willing to commit at least 2 years, then don't even get started because you're probably not going to make it. Like, I think the statistic is 90% of new traders don't make it within the first year, and I think it's like somewhere around 98 give up within 2 years. So that just shows you how many people actually make it. Now, I don't want to discourage you with that statistic, but it is based on reality, so realize you really got to want it. In any case, I want to go over two of my trades today. I think I did about 7 or 8 trades, and some were scalps, so I'm not going to go over those. They probably weren't good entries anyway. I should stop taking them all together, but old habits die hard. So anyway, I'm just going to go over the first two. So we had CPI today. It popped because inflation came down. So the month over month came down, and the yearly one came down as well. So I thought we were just going to have a straight up, trend day up into the cosmos and recover this overselling that we've had lately, and it didn't. It didn't. So it came up, and then I was expecting it to kind of stop here, which it did for a little bit. So let's see where my entry was on my first trade. So my first trade, I got in at 5/6/32.75. Now, I tried to get in a little earlier, but as you know, when it hits one of these levels, it usually takes off very quickly. Now, we're looking at the 5 minute here, but it takes off really quickly. I have only the fills done in. I actually tried to get an order at, I think it was like 28.50. It didn't get filled. Then it was at 29, then 30, and then just finally, we came down to 56.32 for a little bit, and I got my fill, which I was kind of chasing it, to be honest. But I thought, hey, my thinking was CPI went up, there's unfinished business here because this was pre-market. And usually, if there's a bounce like this in pre-market, usually it gets, at least recovered. Like there's at least the price goes at least to that level in regular hours, but that didn't happen today. It doesn't mean it'll always happen. That's just what I've noticed a lot of times. But it doesn't mean it can't happen tomorrow or the next day or next week. But yeah, there's definitely unfinished business here, so we're definitely going to revisit this area. I don't know when. But getting back to my trade, so I got in a little late, started going up, which I thought was good news. It went up, and it couldn't quite break this. This is yesterday's high, so it couldn't break it. It came back down. I was patient with it. And yeah, as soon as it started going back up, because it did end up, I put a stop. Now my stop was at 30, I think. It was fairly tight, and my stop actually got hit. So it got hit like 10 minutes later. I think it's around here somewhere I got hit. But I usually, what I've noticed is it would come here, test this level again, there was a retest, and then take off again, but that didn't happen. So I got stopped out, and I got stopped out for like, I think 2 points. Yeah, it was around 2 points, yeah. It has the stop price here. So it was basically, I think it was about 120 bucks, 116 bucks that I was down. And then I just took a couple of scalps, I think. It wasn't anything major. So I was just trying to recover like my small loss, but it was just scalps. It wasn't a serious position. So now I want to talk about the second trade I took, and I'm going to pause here slightly for a bit because I don't want to go into all the other trades. So I'll find the trade, and it was a good trade, and there's something to learn from that too, is I didn't stay in it long enough. So let me find that trade for you, and we'll go into it. Okay, so when we came down here, I noticed this long wick, and usually when there's this long of a wick, this hammer candle, there's a lot of buying. And I just watched it. I just watched the price action. I just watched the candles. And I decided to take a long 1 E-mini contract at 59.50. I was just seeing that this level was holding. And I was like, I'll get in here. But I got scared out. I got scared out of the trade because it didn't just start taking off. It tested again. And I was like, is it going to break? Is it going to break? Are we going to go lower? As you can see, I was thinking that maybe we're going to retest this low from yesterday. It stopped here, but I thought maybe it's going to go for the low. So maybe this is just temporary. So I got out of the trade, and I got out as a market order, and I think it was just like maybe like, I don't know, for a small loss. I don't even know what it was. Let's look at it. So I sold right at 58.25 like an idiot. Usually you need to give your trades some room to work, but because I only have one contract and the account size is so small, I'm very stingy with my stops. Too stingy. Like it's usually like a point or two. And yeah, that's not good. You need, from what I've seen from other professional traders that are good and that are trading 20 to 30 lots, they do a minimum of 5 points. So their stops are usually 5, sometimes 10. I haven't heard anybody say more than 10, but I'm talking on the ES contracts, not on NASDAQ or other instruments. But on ES, from what I've seen, their standard is usually about 5 points. So if they weren't right and the position moves against them more than 5 points, then they're out. But yeah, so I got really scared and did a market order out. And how much was I out? Yeah, exactly. I was out, what, a point and a tick. So yeah, anyway, but I decided to get back in because I was seeing it was holding, and I was like, oh, this is probably going to go a lot higher. So let me just see where it was. So I got in again at 55.62. So 55.62 is about here. So this is where I got in because I kept seeing price action. This was holding. This was going up. I was like, oh, okay, it's very likely to hold here. So I got in, and I was going to ride it all the way till about here because there was liquidity here. And I thought for sure it'll go up here. But I had to leave the room for a second. One of my neighbors came, knocked on the door, and I put a stop. And again, I was too stingy with the stop. I put it right at 580. And I think, yeah, it was around here. The price was around here. It was going up. Yeah, it went up to 85. And I was like, oh, I'll just put it around 80. I think this is, or maybe it was here. Yeah, it was around here. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's continuing to go up, and I'll just put around 80. Well, it came in, and it just went a point beyond my stop, and it just took me out. So I could have definitely done better. I mean, I was going to close the position about here, so around 88, but whatever. It happens. I was a little too stingy with my stop, and I got taken out. Yeah, it was around here. So it was 11:30, sorry, 11:30, and I got taken out at 11:30 when it took me out. Those are the two trades I wanted to cover, and my profit today is 1,089. Like I said, these are not my normal days, but the market's been very volatile lately, so you are getting some nice movement in the market, and especially trading ES. All right, that's about it. That's all I wanted to go over today. Hopefully today I learned the lesson that I shouldn't have such tight stops. But again, I was trying to recover the loss from yesterday, which was terrible. I'm still ashamed, and I got my account back above 5,000, which is what I started out this account with. Now, I regularly do withdrawals. I'm going to do one today. So I'm going to withdraw about $300 from here and just send it to my bank account. Got some bills to pay. So yeah, I always pay yourself. Now, I do want to build up this account. Hopefully it'll be 25 grand in a few months, but we'll see, because it's not as easy to build up, especially with one contract. Now, I could trade more of the E-minis. I just don't like them as much because the commissions really add up if you are doing the micros. I was talking about the micros. If you're doing 5 or 10 at a time, the commissions do add up, especially since I like to scalp sometimes. And I did scalp some today. This could have been a lot higher. It could have been 1,250. But sometimes I don't know when to quit. And yeah, I took a small loss near the end of the day. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.